Are we live? I believe we are. Happy Wednesday. How are you doing? I'm doing great. I hope that you are doing great. It is Wednesday, June 17th. This is the week of Father's Day. This is Father's Day. It's coming up this weekend, and my name is Edward Wright. Welcome. How are you? Welcome to the Noonday Chat, where the men of greater, sponsored by myself, Edward Wright, live, and the GCC Manhood Men's Ministry, where we are we're a vibe. We really are. If I had to say so myself, we the men's ministry of greater community, we are a vibe. We really are. I don't know about you. I don't know how many men's ministries do you know that have a noonday talk where you're able to come and share, get some encouragement, get some wisdom, hopefully. um, just have a good time. Because again, it's a vibe. It really is. So, welcome to our noonday chat. Of course, it's always a vibe. I have put the link in the chat so you can join. Also, we have been joined by one of our wonderful elders, Elder Will Huff. You're going to notice if you've been watching the noonday talks, you will notice there have been a few, consistent um, personalities, if you will, and this is one of them. And great, cool guy. Great. He's wise. He's also a father. So again, shout out to all fathers who have biological children, and then also those who also maybe godfathers or uncles, and who have fathered non-biological children like myself. I have helped raise many people, and I don't realize it until I think about it. I'm like, oh my God, I I taught piano for years, and here you are now, graduated from a college. You're married. You're engaged. It's a whole thing. Elder Huff, how you doing, sir? I said it's a whole thing.
It's the whole thing. That's a great way to put it,
It's a
brother.
whole yeah.
Absolutely. No, I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Because sometimes I feel old to be, but then not like old like that. But it's like you look at somebody, you're like, hold on, that was 20 years ago. Like, hold on, that was 30 years ago. Like, wow, hold on, how old am I? You know, and you have to look at it. Oh, so let's talk about that. So I'll be 42 coming up in August, but I still feel the same as I felt in honestly, my 20s and 30s. Is that the universal thing that you could this eyebrow went up like the rock. Did y'all saw it because we were on video. I saw, yeah. So come on, give us some insight there.
That's absolutely, the case. And what a blessing it is, right? To feel younger, but it's still your body um, is the part that tells the story. And it's so funny because just was it yesterday or the day before? So my 35-year-old daughter called me and she hurt her rotator cuff. Now, this girl has always been incredibly active, incredibly fit, is always on me about nutrition, this and that. But she said, Daddy, I'm feeling old. You're feeling old. You turn, you know,
Right.
talking about her rotator cuff. It's like, this is the first time that I haven't really been able to just like recover from just the soreness of working out or whatever. I said, girl, I hear you. I hear you. And I said, that's just the way it is. I mean, you feel in your mind that you can still do anything and that, you are where you were, when you're 20 years old, but then it's your body that just reminds you, no, that ain't quite true.
That's not quite true.
you got to
That's
push
good.
through it though. You
Yeah.
have to push through it because if you play into it, right? If you allow your body to judge your attitude, then you won't exercise, which then makes you feel older, which then it becomes this cycle that you can allow yourself into. And I was just saying, yeah, girl, you gotta push, through to allow time to definitely recover and heal. But really exercise and pushing through it spiritually is the only way, because the devil will just use that to just isolate you, depress you, and all that, right? So, hey, brother, what's the brother Israel got on this? This is
Looking
I
like a
was
highlighter.
saying.
Got on this FIFA stuff for the FIFA World Cup. Looking like a highlighter.
all right, that's sharp, that's sharp. Love it, love it, love it.
So you've
Yeah.
been working the FIFA arenas
So I'm
thing?
doing surrounding. I'm not actually having to be involved in the games down at the stadium. And today's one of those non-games, so they got other stuff happening. And I'm dealing with all the other. I'm dealing with satellite stuff, not the game per se.
Hmm. Hmm. All
That's
right.
such. You came in. Now we're talking about our bodies as we get older, right? And by you being clearly physical and being out, what are some pointers that you can share with us? I mean, is it just the consistency of working out?
For me, I have to make it a conscious decision. So luckily, up here I work, there's a gym right outside, attached to the building. Uh, so if I got to come up here anyhow, I make it a commitment to get up an hour earlier, plus to get up here and then do my workout prior to coming in, because I know if I had to leave home, go to another facility to work out, shower, change, then come up here. The first time something happens, that's it's gone. So I definitely make it convenient, but then I just make it a point to try to stick to it and adhere to it. If I'm coming, pack your pack your gym bag. I got over there in the corner. Get
Okay,
my gym
yeah.
bag. Come up here, get my workout on, shower up, get into this, and go on inside and get to work. So it's convenient, but the conveniency and then knowing, I'm almost 60 years old, man. It's not going to get any easier. It's not going to get any. Um, yeah, you're not going to get your youth back. So you're just trying to prolong and do what you can do to do your part. So I might get
Maintain
older. I just don't want to get old. So I'm trying to get
that.
older gracefully.
That's right. So how
Yeah.
often do you work out?
Usually Monday through Friday, and take the weekends to be cool.
Every day?
Monday through Friday, yeah.
So you doing weights? Are you doing body weight?
Weights, yeah, more weights than any type of my aerobic cardio side is what is I'm lacking on. I don't have the time available to go run for a mile and a half, and I don't have the knees for it anymore either. So
Hmm.
so that's the lacking side. But I do try to do weight training, resistance, and then watch and monitor my diet a little bit.
That's what I've heard about. Because I enjoy running, and they was like, "Hey man, be careful about them, your knees and stuff. You got to think, thinking later." So that's when
Yeah.
you see that. That's yeah. Mm, wow. I tell you, I wasn't necessarily planning to talk about that, the health piece, but then when you start thinking about it, you're like, hold on, let me see who I got in the room here. Let's get some wisdom. I can put it in my back pocket, you know, to know what's going on. Oh, and happy early Father's Day too. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any
Thank you.
plans for the weekend?
Hopefully just relaxation and just enjoying the day. We know it's not the same glamour as Mother's Day, and I understood mothers do so much and everything else, but just hey dad, and I just had a great phone call from my daughter-in-law, and she basically almost brought me to tears. No, she did bring me to tears.
Come
Give
on.
me so she gave me a nice advanced Father's Day. She's like, I want to give it to you now before the rush on Father's Day. And, we talked it, so that's all I need. That's
Yeah.
all.
And you
I
said
don't
that's
need
your
something.
daughter-in-law.
My daughter-in-law called me a little while ago. Yeah.
That's all right,
So,
man. Come on. That's now. Why do you think? Well, hold on. With no, let me ask you a question. Have you felt some kind of way about that? That like fathers don't get the same kind of hoopla, or is that part of
no, I
being
think
man,
no.
manhood thing?
It's life. I mean, most of us in life, we probably have lost a parent. When you lose your father, it's one thing, but everybody know when you lose a mother, it's something different. And it's just in life, if a kid is walking and running and he trips and falls, he's gonna turn around and he's gonna cry, "Mommy!" And he's gonna run to his mom. In life, it's just so we know mamas just play this significant part of life. And they need to be honored and revered. And I have no problem with Mother's Day being significantly more honored. We had that discussion. I was walking around today. I was like, even inside here, they don't have the big, roses and all that other on display where you can come buy a bouquet and all that other stuff like they did for Mother's Day. Yeah, you're not gonna get that on Father's Day. Like Bishop said, the parking lot's they're not gonna be overflowed, and you're not gonna have a hard time getting to a dinner table this Sunday. Reservations
Really?
will
You
be
don't.
easily had.
So on Father's Day, you all have not experienced like packed restaurants?
Nah, you can get in. Nah.
I mean, most of the time, I mean, for me, I'm doing the barbecuing, and
Yeah.
then for the most part, um, I like to just without guilt be able to sit out and do whatever I want to do. For me, it's like watching the U.S. Open because I that's my favorite golf tournament, and it's always on Father's Day, and so that was the time where without guilt, everyone just sort of leaves me alone, and I get to sit there, and watch how many hours of sports ever I want to watch, without anyone saying they need this or that, and that was always cool, because that was easy for the girls.
So is that the universal thing for Father's Day that most fathers want to be left alone?
Well, without guilt. See, the key thing is the guilt thing, right? I mean, because you always want to spend time with your kids, but then, when you don't, then there's a level of guilt to it. So for me, the gift was the no guilt. That was the gift for me.
Hmm, that's interesting. That's all right. Now,
Good
let me.
afternoon, everybody.
Oh, hey, sir, how are you? That's Will Benford.
Doing well.
So you have any plans for Father's Day? Well, no. Yeah, well, it's your birthday weekend too, so we know that you are traveling Friday, correct? That's Will Benford. Oh, he may be in a car. He may have gotten a dead spot, maybe. Okay. Because I've always wondered about it. Well,
Yeah.
on one again, being a single parent kid, uh, so Father's Day was actually always kind of like a rough day, honestly. I always felt personally like a little slighted, and then I would kind of give all that attention to my grandfather, and then honestly, men at the church, because a lot of the men fathered, me. They, hey, boy, get over here and do this, do that, I worked for Brother Worthy, for Deacon Tim Worthy, our chairman of our deacon board. I worked for him for I think 4 summers, pouring concrete. So you spend time with somebody. I would give him Father's Day things and all that kind of thing. But the actual time, I just didn't know about it. I always thought in my mind, single parent home. You watch the Cosby Show. You're thinking, oh, it's Father's Day. The kids are gonna be around. I'm like, That's why even now I'm like, oh, okay. So just so y'all hear my background of why I'm asking what I'm asking, because I thought it would be,
It's different when they're younger. But as you get older, like I got my 4 biological children are in 3 different states. So the chance of having everyone here at one time is hard. So if you get a phone call, hey Dad, just want to say thank you, whatever, that's great. And then if anybody's here and drops by and just want to give you a hug or whatever, sit with you for a little bit, or that's great. They say, hey, let's go to dinner. That's great. But I don't look for that proverbial tie thing. I'm particular about my ties. So don't give me an obligatory gift. Don't gotta go. Oh, that's nice. Oh, yeah, no. So, just,
I mean,
yeah,
you're right. You're right on the hand with it, Israel. When you get a older or the kids get older, it definitely has a different dynamic to it. There's not always everybody there. You get one here, one there. So like I had one time, my daughter called me. I'm gonna take you out for Saturday for Father's Day. Another one brought me something. Another one did something. So you just adjust.
Yeah. And then my sons
I-
are fathers too, so their kids, they're going to take them out for Father's Day. So as they get older, the dynamics change, and then they're fathers. So, I want them to relish that time with their young ones. So, yeah, I don't expect much and don't look for much. Just it's a nice, enjoyable, quiet day to be able to do what I want to do, and that's perfect.
Now, I did hear somebody earlier say, just have quiet time or me time, if you will. That's always a benefit as you get older. I enjoy me time. Even they trying to do like you got us on Facebook. Let me not Facebook, but YouTube. But like this weekend, it is my birthday weekend as well as Father's Day. So them planned a trip to the beach and did all these things. And I was like, y'all doing a lot of stuff that y'all like. Oh, I appreciate it. That's all good. So you get one of those scenarios, right? But so to make it enjoyable, the reason I brought that up, because we talking about me time, I said, listen, don't plan nothing with a lot of stuff with me here. I'm just gonna chill on the beach then and chill on the balcony of the apartment. So y'all do what you want to do, since quote is really y'all thing, but I'll make it my thing by just chilling, having a relaxed time.
That's it.
It reminds me of a sitcom where the scenario was on Father's Day, like you're saying, Brother Will. I mean, the kids planned all this stuff basically that they wanted to do. And then on top of that, he came out and said, and I know that I see that you're using my credit card. So I'm paying for this too.
Praying for your own
Exactly.
celebration.
Yeah.
Look at life, man.
Yep.
And to circle in, you beat me up last night. I actually said, listen, for Father's Day, I like to have a men's gathering in the backyard, because it was shortly after we had our last meeting in May. I said, just play there, have some brothers come from, and it could be our men's meeting. I put it out there. I didn't say all this last night as you was beating me up, but and so I think she gonna move forward with it. Next thing I know, you need to pack a bag for a trip. I said, huh?
Oh, that's too much. That's too much.
I got vetoed.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So, question, because even from what you all said, it sounds like in households, at least when the children are there, the father is the father. He's the man of the house. But it seems like you are you finance things and you have to kind of just go along.
Yeah.
You get into yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, and I would love Brother Benford or Brother Keith. I don't know the sexes of your kids, but like again, I have four girls, so I think we've talked about before. Look, man, I'm always going to be the one paying for everything, even if it tends to be a gift for myself, right? So that's why, for one of the reasons why I've just scaled it back to say, look, the best thing y'all can give me is guilt-free time to do whatever it is, because that's also the cheapest thing. So
Yeah. You're right on point there, Elder Huff. That's why I brought up my daughter taking me to dinner. I enjoy that because dinner, stuff like that, they would pay for it. So you don't have to pay for it if you're talking about just who contributes for the gift, right? When you start doing trips, I got two kids in college, one about to go back to college, one just out on her own and have her own house and corporate career. So that's taking up our time. So she's still looking at dad, so when you go on trips like that, I have to now probably take care of the arrangements, but then tell them, y'all got your expenses, but that only goes so far when you got two kids in college, right? So when I can get them just doing a dinner they cooking at the house, or one of them take me out, then that becomes less efficient, cost efficient for me. And but another thing, for me, I adjust what my expectation was. Just the fact that they planned it and they thought of what to do, and I didn't have to do all that. To me, that's value, because I do a lot of the thinking in the house, and as far as planning it out, how things going to be rolled out. And so when I don't have to use those brain cells on myself for myself, that's a value too.
Yeah.
Serving in the household.
One thing I really admire from the little bit that I know about Brother Benson and the time that you spend like with your son, and I was noticing the number of interviews between Jason and Jalen, Brunson, and I go, man, I wish I had that kind of relationship with my dad. I mean, can you imagine where your dad was a pro basketball player and himself a champion, and then you are the son of that father, and yet the relationship that they seem to have was the typical kind of close, where the father is like pushing you, but still like your dad is there through these different accomplishments. That seemed like wildly. First of all, I was proud as a black man. I'll be honest. I was proud as a black man that you have had now these days situations where you see it more often, where these young athletes have fathers who are in the house, who have raised them, and at least they have a relationship. Because it just seemed like for so long it was just always these young men who were just being raised by their mothers. But now the Brunsons have taken it to this other level, at least, and been a model to say, hey, these father and sons are together. I mean, and the son is proud of the father is proud of the son. They have fed, one another. And in the interview I saw, the question was like, who had more, influence? Was it the mother, or, the father, and Jalen said, it was both. It was the mother was kind of, he described the mother was kind of the New Testament, the father was the Old Testament, fire and brimstone, forgiveness and love, and he said, but it got me, it was a good balance.
That's all right.
Yeah, that was great. It was great to see.
And when those relationships, when it comes where, and I keep it in the same realm of sports, but it can go in any career type of scenario. If you're a carpenter and you're trying to get your son to, learn your trade, if you're a teen, you're trying to, it takes the reception of the child as well in that aspect. A lot of it, they have to be able to receive that correction from their dad and process it properly. Now, it's on the dad as well to deliver it and read the room, if you will, and not just stick to and just keep grinding. And whether you see your child, be your daughter or your son, is not being receptive to it, not being as receptive to it as you like, you got to kind of read the room and adjust. But it definitely takes the kid to be able to receive it as correction to get better, not correction so you're not good enough. And that's the fine line that I think we as father in any regards have to continue to develop that skill, that the children, that our child can take correction without feeling like it's destroying them or their confidence, because you never want to take their confidence.
How is that done?
I'm a millionaire if I could, but really it's case by case. It depends on the child, right? You got to be able to. I could tell you what worked with X, one of mine's, right? But that don't mean it's gonna work with Y, one of Elder Huff. It all depends on, and then a lot of it has to do. Now, I will say this, and this may be consistent across the board. When they're in your home alone, right? And what I mean by alone, they're not going to other friends' homes. So that's between birth until probably about 9, 10, 11. Is a lot bit more easier. But once they start engaging in other families, seeing their friends, and I had my daughter, she come in like, Susie was cussing her mom out. I was like, don't try it here. I can't save you from mom. We're in a different suburb, right? Even in a different dynamic. But you have that, and it's the oddest thing. I look at some of my, other Caucasian friends are like, y'all need to tighten up. Let your child talk to you in that kind of way. But they think it's giving them freedom or giving them independence, but is missing that part of respect though for the authority, and so to me, so I saw it a lot, a different dynamic change, I guess I should say, once they start engaging with friends or even in school life, seeing they friends acting a certain way, doing and just it's all association. So when they start associating with other people, now you got to kind of, like I said, read the room differently than maybe you did when they was 10 and younger.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree with that. I mean, and what I've seen in just my experience is that, all the kids are different. So not only, like in every situation, they want to be all treated fair. Like, I mean, if I bought one child something, I had to buy them all pretty much the same thing. But that didn't apply when it came to, different situations because they each had their own personality. And so you just have to be like Brother Benford said, you got to kind of read the room. I'm like, what is going on in this situation, and who is the child that is in it? Because what you're going to say to one is not necessarily going to be the same that you say to the other.
So that's emotional maturity.
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah.
I say that, and I only say that because I've heard so many people say men are not emotionally mature.
Mm,
Men are this, men are that. So to hear you all say, I love the fact that it's not a universe, it's not a one thing. It's like, hey, no,
mm,
you gotta. Every child is different. That means you have to pay attention to the child. You almost have to have a memory bank, I guess you could say, of how the personality traits or type of that child, which is emotional maturity. You have to be emotionally aware
yeah.
that I can't talk to this daughter this way. She doesn't, that will mess her up. I think it was one of these weeks we talked about, I think it was Elder Huff and Will Benford, because you all raising girls. Well, Benford, I mean, he has a son as well, but you was talking about how women, when you're raising girls, they really have to have that words of affirmation. Like
Mhm.
that right there, that's emotional maturity. And I'm just spotlighting it out because I think one is Father's Day weekend. Well, Father's Day week and the weekend. So you all need to be celebrated on the emotional maturity and awareness of raising your daughters, son, your children. I think that's huge. And I say this because I can remember being a child, and I'm like, why are you talking to me like this? I am not him. Like, don't you talking to me like I'm him? And I said, you don't know me. Talk to me for me. I don't need all that. Go ahead, Keith.
No, I was listening while I was trying to do a couple things, but I tried not to, I tried to understand each one of my four children, two boys, two girls, for them individually, but I didn't raise them differently.
Mhm.
So my expectations were the same expectations, or the same rules were the same rules. I didn't treat one, well, you got a different set of rules and I'm gonna give you a different set of rules or whatever. It was the same brush, but I understood your personality, how you might accept stuff, but I didn't change, you know, the standard of what was expected or what was going on. It was the same for everybody. Now, as you got older, you got to choose your life choices, what you wanted to do as far as, employment, this, goals, career. That was your choice. I never asked anybody to follow mine, choose theirs. But it was the same standard of what the expectations were. You had to stay focused. You had to stay in school. You couldn't do it. So the same things, but I allowed the personality to play, but I didn't change the rules. So no one could get away with something that the other one could. And when this one's a golden child, we treat this one like the princess and this one not. Everybody, yeah.
Can I ask you, just honestly, is that your perception? And here's why I say that, because when I get my kids together,
Mhm.
the older ones in particular will say to the younger ones, "Oh, well, when we were growing up, this, that, and the other thing, and then dad didn't used to do it." And in my mind, I have actually, again, accounting for their individual personalities, I did treat them the same and have the same expectations. But when it's so funny, when they get together, oh, it's a crack up,
Yeah.
because they will just start slamming, on each other. "Oh yeah, but you had it easier when you were growing up, because then dad and yeah, but boom, and yeah, and it's just funny just to be a fly on the wall. I don't say anything. I'm just sitting there listening, to be a fly on the wall, to see their perception of what happened as they were growing up. It's just different from my perception of when I was actually raising them.
I was lucky. I have my two sons are the oldest, and they're closer in age. So they're like 2 years apart, maybe close to 3 years apart. So they pretty much had the same thing. My daughters, my last two, with my daughters, and so the girls didn't get treated like the boys or the same expectation because I was raising them to be young men. So that was a little different for us that aspect. But yeah, my daughters, we all treated them like princesses or whatever, and loved on them. And so the girls can say they got the same, and the boys might say, hey, dad didn't have the same hardness on you. Because I was like with the boys, your job is when life gets hard, figure it out. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't give them the same path. I need you to understand that when you're going through life, it's when you're gonna have your battles, figure it out. Before you come to me and say, hey, I need. I'm gonna say, okay, I understand it. Now tell me what have you done first?
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then we can go on from there with the girls. My dad, I need something. Say, okay, sweetie, no problem. Okay, what have you? Okay, I got you. But it was a little different because I expected my young men to become men and be able to face situations, and when they get their families, know what's required of you. What you're going to have to figure it out. You're going to have to take the extra steps and do the due diligence. And then, but I train my daughters too. Like if you are in that position where you are in your mid 20s or 30s and you're living on your own and whatever else, and what expectations to have. So I've been lucky and blessed. Well, I had the boys first, where you can be with your boys like you needed to,
Yeah.
teach them what they needed. Then so I didn't have a boy girl, where they had to see the different treatments. And then when the girls came, okay, well, we loved on them as girls.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So and they did the big brother thing for them too. So
Oh, that's nice. Yeah,
yeah.
that's great.
Hmm, that's good. Fatherhood experiences.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
can we
But the
have?
best role is still the grandfather role. That's still the best.
Oh, now, so hold on. You said grandfather role is the best.
It's the best.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is the best.
Now, why?
You get to display the love. You get to enjoy the love. You get to see your seed have their seed and
Mhm.
see the progression. And that's just a joy of seeing your generation going on. And you're not inherently expected to have to do the parenting role. We're more of a support role. So I didn't have to be like, did you eat this before you had that? They're like, Papa, can I have this? Sure, baby. Go ahead and get some.
Yep. Yep.
She get a sugar rush when she go home. That's mom and dad's responsibility. I ain't gotta worry
Exactly.
about
There you go. There it is right there. There it is right there.
it. I
Yep.
ain't worry about that. But they got boundaries when they get there. But it's different with your grandkids. You love on them differently because you're not taking the place of the parent role. The parent is being the parent. You get to be the support role. So you get to enjoy more of the fun side, more the loving side, more of the, I'm not here to teach, I'm here to support. I'm here to encourage, I'm here to love on you, I'm here to have a good time with you and let you enjoy them. Love going to Papa and Nana's house. And so, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's different.
That's it. Well said.
So you agree, Elder Huff? Same?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean the exchange in me taking care of the grandkid is that I get to do what I want to do. Because you don't start to try to tell me how. Because then just as Elder, just as the Deacon Israel said, I mean, if I'm taking care of them, I get to do it my way. But my way is the fun way, and they just do whatever it is they want to do, and like Brother Keith said, I give them all the candy they want because it's going to be their parents' problem to try to get them to sleep. That ain't my problem, you know.
That is
And when they
wild.
were babies, I got to love on them and all that. But when it was trying to change that diaper, no, here, hey, hey,
Oh,
hey, come on, get the baby, because
and I remind my kids,
going
it's not
on up
my
in
place to
there. It's
take the
not my
parenting from you. I'm not going to cheat you out of the joy of being a parent. That's your job. You're the parent. I'm the grandparent. I'm one step removed. I'm not going to cheat you out of
Yes,
that.
sir. There it is right there. There it
No,
is right there. Yes, sir. Yeah.
I'm not gonna cheat you out of that. No.
no,
That's right.
never.
That's funny.
That's
But
great.
grandparent. Oh, now hold on, Elder Huff. How many grandchildren you have?
I have just one son.
Oh yeah, the one. Yeah. So we
Yeah.
met because he came to the breakfast. Was that last 2 years
A
ago?
couple of years ago. Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm.
Yeah, because he's Carolina.
Pardon?
Is he in one of the Carolinas?
No. He's here in Georgia. Yeah.
Gwinnett.
Yeah. He lived down here by me in Fairburn. Uh-huh.
Oh.
hmm Yeah.
What's
So
up?
he's just like 15 minutes away. But now he doesn't, now he's like 16. So, uh, he's
Oh, so he's not hanging with you anymore. He don't come back.
not too much. He has found that he likes, and I'm happy about it, right? He likes women. I'm happy about that. So he wants to spend time with his friends. So, so it's all good. Mhm.
I hear that. But grandparents have a special place. I know for me, my grandparents. Oh, it may have been a little different because my grandparents were they supported, but they I learned a lot from them. I spent a lot of
Mhm.
time, and I spent a lot of time with them. Honestly, as I got older, uh, my grandfather took me to get my hair cut every 2 weeks since I can remember. So that was our time. We had breakfast, got our hair cut. I would be his hand. He was a carpenter, so I would do whatever. Spend some time with him or whatever.
Why did we go from full
Benford,
accreditation to
you gotta put yourself
conditional?
back on mute.
Well, there was something that was brought to our attention that wasn't brought to our.
So yeah, but I was just saying about grandparents. Like my grandmother, she didn't teach me how to cook, but I got a lot of recipes from her. My grandfather, he would cutting grass, do all the things. So, I mean, it's fathers. So I'm saying from grandfathers to grandparents to fathers is extremely important. I know I'm extremely grateful for my grandfather, especially as I listen to you all. No, I knew he was doing more than what he had to do, but as I get older, I'm just like, wow. I remember when I was a kid, he would come. I was a little guy, and I was cutting the grass, and he would say, "Son, you can't cut the grass by yourself. You need to have an adult just to supervise." And he would come and supervise. And when I kind of think back, it was during his dinner time.
Mm.
So that day, he would come and eat either dinner early or later, just to supervise to make sure I didn't get hurt or anything. I mean, it's small, big things like that. That I also want to I've always tried to celebrate men. Because a lot of things, we'll sacrifice and there's no accolades. You're like, yo, you're supposed to do it. But it's a lot of things, especially, I think, for those of us who've been raised in single parent homes. When a man does something for you and he's not your father,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's huge. I remember a man at Greater. He's no longer there, Elder. one of the elders, he took me to get my first suit. You know,
Mm-hmm.
kanji. You know, I got my suit or whatever, and I mean it was huge. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot like so for me, and I'm not a father yet. You know, I don't have any children, but I just know for me, men have played a huge role, and I just think we just don't get a lot of credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, but I get it. As I even listen today, listen to you all, I'm like, oh, I kind of get now. Like, leave me alone, have my quality time, guilt free, time. I'm like, oh, that makes sense now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, at this Asian stage, but it still needs to be said though that men, fathers, grandfathers, do a lot. You know, and should be praised in that way. So
Yeah,
kudos to you.
you touched on the fathers of the church, and man, I guess as I'm approaching 70 years old, I mean,
Come
I'm
on.
becoming one of those fathers, but just growing up. I mean, even like folks like Elder Stewart,
Sir.
who I just love being around him, because he's like the epitome of the church fathers that I grew up with. Wise, just chill. Knows, loves. I mean, has just seen it all, and I just thank God for them. And those are the fathers that I really think we just need to even more, celebrate the fathers in the church because there's just uh, there's just so much appreciation and growth, as you just testified to, Brother Wright, that have influenced so many of their non-biological just children in the Lord, just
Yeah.
by being kind of who they are and the stature of who they are.
I'm glad you said that. One of the reasons me coming back to Greater as an adult, working at these other churches, and I remember when Elder Stewart was a deacon
Mm-hmm.
when I was a kid, and he was the same way,
Mm-hmm.
tall, smiling, even tempered. Um, and one of our at Greater Community, one of our strengths, we have men in the church that's been there, and they are stable. No, nobody's perfect, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but stable, consistent. I mean, they're great. They're great examples.
Mm-hmm.
I think about Elder Humphreys. I've said this before, where pastor or bishop does his the wow. That was
Mm-hmm.
our youth. That was our boys' class, and I
Mm-hmm.
can remember Elder Humphreys was teaching, and he's been faithful to his wife when I was a
Mm-hmm.
boy, and I can still see him now how they just are. I'm like, that's a vibe. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's it's and then even those who may not be, I don't want to say I don't want to call those names, but it's still to see how it's still like you're still very much happy. You're like, no, you can love again and keep it moving, or you can be like you, Ed Huff, and be like, I'm good, you know, and have that too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think because that is a very real thing.
No, it is.
Um, and I think at least, I mean, I know we are older, but I'm loving our maturity because it seems like in '98 that would not be said.
Mm-hmm.
But in 2026, no, I'm saved, I'm sanctified, I'm spirit filled, I'm doing this, and also I'm done with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know what I mean? I think it's a level of honesty, transparency, where I can like live in my truth, and I don't have to lie or
Mm-hmm.
betray myself to be something that I'm not.
Yeah.
And I think that's I'm not saying women don't, but I think when men do it, it's just we're setting the tone, setting the standard for just realness, genuine, being genuine, being your true authentic self.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hmm, that's it. Yeah, I don't know if y'all can tell. I'm trying to prepare myself for fathers, for fathers,
Mm-hmm.
because and just being vulnerable. And I would say being vulnerable here. One of the reasons why I haven't had any children, I didn't know if I would be a good father. You know, because you have your things about, oh, I didn't have my father in my house and all that crap. And I don't know if I know how to talk. I don't know if I can know how to express myself. If I have this bent up and then you work through that stuff, you're like, Ed, if you don't shut up, let that stuff go. Like that's in your mind
Oh yeah,
only, you know.
yeah.
So to
Because
hear
once
the
you have
different,
kids, yeah, once you have kids, he just came off for it. Once you have kids, it's always interesting how you will forget that we are animals. I mean, there is certain part of fatherhood is just being it just kind of kicks in genetically. I mean, and the first time I realized this is that when my first child was born, her bedroom was her the window to her bedroom kind of faced out, to the street. And I remember she must have just been about maybe a month old, not even, but I thought I heard someone breaking in. And I'm telling you, because I tend to be a very cerebral thinking person. I mean, all of that went out the door. I was going to kill whatever it was on the other side. It was just animalistic. There was no thinking about it. Here I'm as a lawyer. I mean, I know, okay, if they break in, then I can be justified in my murder. No. It was, I will kill whatever is on the other side. It just was animalistic, the protection that just automatically, kicks in. So, yes, there is certainly things that we can all learn. And as you said, you become more emotionally mature. But like when you actually have that child, there's stuff that just kicks in. It just happens automatically.
That, so true. It's that protective nature.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. When we talk about the mama bear, I mean, but Papa Bear, that works. Papa Bear stuff works too. We gotta kick in as well.
mm,
So I
which
pray for
is
you in that aspiration. Do not worry about it, brother. Right? When it happens, it's just you're gonna be great.
yes, sir. Which
But yeah, it sounded like you had a great support and teaching, um, hands-on from different men who were strong, and then being in the environment where you see a lot of stuff you emulate by. You don't have to have necessarily a close. But a lot of guys I see at that church that I haven't had a chance to spend a lot of time with, but I can respect them because I like what I see. I like the way they carry themselves. I like the way they present themselves. I like the way they honor their wives. I like the way they present. So even if you don't have a chance to sit down and think, you can feel that and like, wow, I want to vibe to be like that. So you had some great things in your life that make you want to reach out and strive to do that. That's perfect that's a segue to get to where you want to be. Just utilize those and keep thinking of those.
That's right. Which even brings us up to this coming Saturday. We have our 5K walk that we are honoring for Bishop's birthday. That's at 7 a.m. And also, that's one way of fellowshipping. Another thing, I know we got to get something on this calendar. I know I was looking at the church calendar last night, and between men's month, the basketball tournament, all the things, but we have to get something where we do some kind of fellowship, if not a meeting at a restaurant or something. Because even what you just said just now, the vibes. I thought about when we all went to maybe the fish market to celebrate Sharon Jackson's birthday, and I was sitting next to the Israels and the Henrys, and it was great. I learned all kind of stuff about them. But it's also when you break bread with somebody, you really get to have some good time. So, and also, Elder Huff, I remember you said it. I don't remember when exactly, but about us just getting some events, which I totally agree with, because we don't. I as I've listened more, and as I just kind of, I don't want us to be so. Well, I don't want to be so bogged down with meetings and the work that we're just not spending just good quality time in person where we can touch each other and look at each other in the face and that whole nine. So I want to make sure I say it out loud so that it's out there, and even if it's not until August, because July is Men's Month, gonna be a busy month, of course, and it's cruises and trips and summer, all the things. But we still have to have some time, and also now that I'm hearing now, a good time of guilt-free, masculine fun, where we can
Yep.
have a good time.
Yeah. No, Brother Benford and I are still bubbling up and working on the whole retreat, idea.
Yes,
But we haven't let that die. So again, we just know we are coming up to a busy time. But look, right after, Pastor's, anniversary and before Thanksgiving, if we can slide something in there, that's what we're aiming for. Yep.
I love that. That's many hands make the load light.
So
Two people can be working on this, somebody else working on this, somebody's working on this, somebody's working on this. You got a whole thing going. I love that. Fatherhood.
amen.
Iron sharpening iron. Any
Yeah,
other
I'd like to I'll just read a scripture real quick here, just to, as Bishop says, that give me some word, on that. But Hebrews 12 uh, talks about, we begin, and I'm reading from the English Standard Version, um, beginning at verse 4. It says, in our struggle against sin, we have not resisted to the point of shedding of blood, and have we forgotten that the exhortation that addresses us as sons, that my son, do not regard lightly the discipline of the Lord, nor be weary when reproved by him. For the Lord disciplines as the one he loves, and chastises every son whom he receives. It is the discipline that you have to endure. God is treating you as sons. For what son is there whom his father does not discipline him? If we are left without discipline, in which we all have participated, then we're illegitimate children and not sons. Besides this, we have earthly fathers who disciplined us, and we respected them. Shall we not much more be the subject to the Father of the spirits and live?
that's with 4 through 10? No,
So
4 through
that's
9.
Hebrews 12, yeah, 4 through 9.
That's good. That's good, sir. I'm
Father loves us. He loves us, and he shows us by his discipline.
that part.
Yeah.
You're gonna get this whooping. But I love you. And that's how you know I love you.
Or he's going to get this correction, right? I mean, that's the other thing, right? Yeah. Yeah. No, the whippings, right, these days. Who was it, Bishop, who was just saying on Sunday how, you know, back in the day, the discipline occurred and there was no 911, there was no calling the social worker. There was, yeah, Bishop,
Just take it.
you are so on point.
Listen.
So I got to run out a little bit early, but it's been another great. I'm glad I got a chance to make it this week. I look forward to this. Is the iron sharpening iron, man, and I love just being able to sit back and chat with you all. I
Yes.
do have to cut out a few minutes early though. Well, God bless y'all. Y'all
Sure.
be with y'all and see y'all this weekend.
All right.
All right.
That's good. God, Chess. Yeah, that's just a constant reminder.
Yep.
Well, that's word with conversation. Ed Huff, any last thoughts?
No, sir. Wonderful conversation as always. Glad I was able to jump in.
Me too. It made it all the thing. Bro, Will Benford, I know you're still on mute. You have any fleeting words if you can hear? I mean, if you can get on? Okay. Ed Huff, would you pray us out, please, sir?
Yes. So, Father God, thank you for this time of coming together and fellowshipping, Lord. We know that you, as our Heavenly Father, loved us by all the things that you have done and that you continue to do for us. But, Lord, if you never do anything else. We just are grateful and thankful for where we are. Lord, we pray right now for all of those who are in traveling, those who are going to be on the road coming up, and we ask a special hedge of protection and encouragement to the Macs who have to deal with that sudden loss of their nephew, Lord, and we have them in our hearts, and we ask that you have welcomed that nephew into your arms, and that the family, as it's going through this sudden bereavement, can find peace in you. Lord, we look forward to celebrating our pastor's birthday and the Father's Day and the walk that is coming up. And Lord, we pray that in everything that we do, that we keep you front and center, and we do it according to your will. So as we ask these things in your precious son Jesus' name, continue to bless each and every household of a greater. We ask these things in his name. Amen.
Amen. Hmm. Well, a great another a great another great Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
When, all right. See, Wednesday. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.